big shout out to everyone who has subscribed to the channel. We're about to hit that 10k subscriber mark. If you're new here, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell icon to be the first to watch when we upload any new content. Don't forget to leave a like for the YouTube algorithm. Also leave a comment. As soon as we hit that 10k mark, we are going to start having live trading sessions, so do stay tuned. Hi guys, hope you guys are doing good. Alright, so we're going to be looking at how we executed this trade. Right, remember, if you have been following our videos, I always advise that you start with your higher time frames, to get a clear picture, because it's less noisy of the market direction. So in this case, as you can see, market has been moving down, right? We can actually identify what has been happening here. We can actually see new lows, right, on GU, right? So looking at it from the daily, right, this is a very clean area. As you can see, what we had right here, we had a drop, right, we had a base. So this is actually a base area, and I like that base area because it actually, it's actually a decision point type. This is called a decision point type 1. Right, so in this case we can actually see that I was anticipating this because this is price coming back to this area. As you can see, this is the area responsible for new lows, right? And we can see how price moved away from that, right? So this is price coming back to the supply zone. So if we move to the H4, this is what we can see. We can actually identify 3 levels. Remember, we look for peaks, right, after 3 levels, right? These levels can go for 5 levels. But remember, to actually make money in trading, you need to be disciplined. All right, you need to be disciplined. So you need to follow your trading plan, and you need a trading checklist. So if we go to the H1, we can clearly identify, one day of rise into a consolidation, right? Another day of rise, as you can see, into this consolidation right here, right? And then we had the last level of rise, giving us a peak formation, and we can actually identify a QM pattern when we look at that. So we can see this was actually a very clean trade, right? And these are the type of trade that you want to look for, right? But you need to be disciplined, right? And you also need to understand how you can actually manage your risk, right? So on the next video, guys, after this ad, on the next video, I'm going to be explaining this on my terminal, right? And also give you a view of how you would have looked at this, from just a clean chart and just understanding order flow and your supply and demand. All right, guys, so before we go on, always remember to secure the bag, right? Trading does not need you to be greedy, right? Always secure the bag. Hi, guys, hope you guys are doing good. Now, before we look at it, from the market maker perspective, right, I want to actually take you right to a clean chart so I can explain how I came about this trade idea, right? So if we look at this from the daily time frame, right, we can also go down to your monthly, right? If we look at it from the monthly, what we can actually identify is we have a new low, right? Market broke this low, so this is a low right here, right? This is the low right now. So if we look at this, right, market structure, we can see where price came from, right? Price came from this area right here, right, which is a supply level, right? You can see that actually we had a lower low, a break of structure, right, and then price went back to a nice decision point, a supply level, right? And this is the reason why we've got a new low, right? So this is a very important level right now if we look at this from the monthly time frame, right? So if we move down to your weekly, right, you can just get a clear picture of what's happening. What we can see on the weekly time frame is right now where price is right now. This is actually a drop base drop structure. All right, so drop base drop. All right, so when we identify such, right, this becomes our sell zone. Right, so what we actually want to see is we want to see a nice correction. We want to see price approach back to the area, and then we sell. And if price is coming back to this area for the first time, right, that increases our probability, right, of this trade actually playing out. Remember, in the market there is no 100%, right? So you need factors of confluence to increase your chances of winning in the forex market, right? So we can actually identify this right here, but you cannot see it that clear in the weekly. But this is actually a drop, base drop. So this is actually the sell zone, right? So that's where GU is right now, in the sell zone, right? That's where GU is, in the sell zone, and this is your weekly. So this makes this a very strong zone because you can identify it from your higher time frame, which gives you, a very clear view of the market, right? So going down to the daily time frame, this is what we can see, right? This is, it gives us more information, right? We can actually identify the sell zone here, right? The structure, sell structure that I explained right here, the drop base drop, right? That's actually what we look for, right? In a down phase, right? For continuation trades, right? This right here, right, is exactly what we have right here, right? We actually have a nice sell zone right here. This is a decision point type 1, and we can also identify a QM pattern at that zone, right? So this is in your daily time frame, but what we can see is price, right, has been moving to the upside, right? We can identify these higher lows, right? We can identify these higher lows, right, as the market is pushing up. So right now price is actually back at this area for the first time, and we can also identify some liquidity being grabbed by this move right there into that area. So looking at it from the H4, we can move down to the 2-hour time frame. What we can see, that this gives you a very clean view, right? What we can actually identify is price pushed right to this area, right? For those people who trade BTMM, we can identify level 1 into a consolidation, right? We can also identify the second level push, and we identify third level into the supply zone. So already that increases our probability, right? So we've got factors of confluence building up, right? So what we can see right here is we had this area, right? We had this area, and what I can actually see on this area is we had this base area weakening, right? So if you watched our previous video, we actually explained what is weakening base. This is when the market will keep hitting the same sorry about that, will keep hitting the same supply zone or demand zone, right, many times, right? When this happens, right, this means that chances of you actually trying to buy here are decreasing, right? Because when we have a base area being tapped into many times, that means we've got a probability of the market breaking that zone. So this gives us an edge, right? So that's what we have right here. And then finally what we can see is we've got a change of character or a break of structure, because in this case we can see the market was pushing up, right? We identify an up phase, right? But in this case instead, because in this case we're actually anticipating a higher low and then we see a higher high. So what we can identify right here is we've got a break of structure, right? That's the first sign, right, that the market structure might be changing, right? And then we can also identify a QM pattern, right? If we move over to our line chart, what we can see is we've got, we can use this area, right? We've got a very nice area there. That's what we have, right? It's a key level because we can see how price tapped a lot of times around that level, right? So price then broke structure, then went back to the reason why we've got a change of character or a break of structure. So I was interested in that area right there, right? So if we can take it down to the M50, right? This is a time frame where you can use to execute as you try to manage your risk. So in this case, we have something very clean, right? This is the break of structure down here, right? We can identify the break of structure at this level. All right, after the break of structure, we can also identify this supply level right here. Right, we've got a nice supply level right there. So let me just remove this, so we can get a clear picture of what I'm trying to explain. So we can already see where price is coming from, right? So price then gave us a break of structure, then went back, and we can also see we had liquidity being built, right? This is all liquidity right there, right? This is all liquidity. We can relatively equal highs, right, just below our decision point, which is this area. We've got nice price approach back to it, right? So to be more conservative, right, you can also wait for a break of structure. So in this case, this is what we have, a break of structure, a change of character, because we can identify this micro trend, right, to be an up phase, right? But remember, we always keep the bigger picture, in mind, right? So lower low, and then price when goes back to this area, we can also identify some imbalance at this area, right? So remember, imbalance, price has to come back and fill that imbalance, right? It won't happen, it might not happen immediately, right, but it will eventually happen. But in this case, since this is the M15 time frame, that can be a good area or a point of interest for us to actually execute a trade, right? So if you're just looking at the M15 time frame, right, this is our low, right? This is the lower low, which makes this a very important area, right? Because I mean, if price comes at this area and fails, right, to hold this area, right, price can actually break it, or price can continue going up. So it's important, right? So if you execute your trade at such an area, right, you can minimize your risk. Remember, you always have to calculate your risk, guys. Forex is not gambling. So you can just put your stop loss just above that area, and then your first take profit can be the low, right? This can be the already the risk to reward on this makes so much sense, right? Because what we can see is from your entry point, looking at 16 pips, you are risking 16 pips, or you can just 15, right? So for you to be on the winning side, because I mean, remember, you are going to have some losers here and there, right? That's why risk management is very important. So if you're risking 15 pips, at least target 45 pips or more, right? This will help you be net positive in the long run. So in this case, we're risking 15 pips, and our first take profit was actually 100 pips, right? That's a good trade, a very clean trade, right? If you actually put these factors of Confluence together, right? So if we look at it from the BTMM, a market maker side of things, what we can see is in the 4 hour, right? If you look at our TDI, we can see that price was actually at a near an extreme, and we've got a nice shock fin, right? And this RSI line is back in that band, right? So if we look at the H1 time frame, what I identified here, right, we had 1 day of rise, which is a level, right? We've got another level, right? This was a very clean one. Third level, right? And then if we look at our TDI, we can actually confirm this by seeing 1 leg out, 1 leg in, a very nice pattern at our extreme on the TDI. So confirmation was there, but remember, we use the TDI for confirmation, right? We still the biggest indicator is market structure. The biggest indicator is market structure, guys. So you can see at this level, as this peak was forming, we're at this area, being hit multiple times, making it a weak base, right? And then we had price breaking structure, and then actually giving us a huge M formation. As you can see, that's a nice peak formation. So if you look at this from the M30 or even M15, this is where your execution part comes in. I actually got into this trade around this area, right? I actually got into this trade around this area because I understood the bigger time frame, right? So yeah, price did come back, and I was still okay on that trade. We actually also sent this signal in our VIP Telegram group, right? And we're still holding this 140 pips in profits plus, right? So this is actually a good trade. This was actually a good trade. I mean, we definitely made money on this one, right? So if we're looking at this, right, execution, right, when price returned to this area right here, the timing, right, remember, market makers will always give you these trap moves beginning of the day or end of the day. So you can see we're at the end of the day right here, and this was actually the end of the week. I mean, this was a Friday, right? We can see the trap move that we had right there, and we can see how price just continued rolling over. So these are variations to the theme. All right, guys, hope you learned something from this video. If you're new here, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, turn on the notification bell icon, share with your friends, and also leave a like for the YouTube algorithm, and leave a comment and tell us where you are watching us from.